In 2019, YouTube was caught violating the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA. Since settling, YouTube has enacted new policies that are meant to serve as a smokescreen so they can dodge responsibility and scapegoat creators. As such, for my own protection, it is my obligation to advise you that this video is not aimed at children. My target audience is not children. Parental discretion is advised. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is the Sentinel watching over Geekdom, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. Today, our look at the Season 24 trilogy continues with The Warehouse, released in August of 2015, written by Mike Tucker, directed by Barnaby Edwards. The Warehouse once again stars Sylvester McCoy as the Doctor and Bonnie Langford as Mel. Also featured in the cast are Philip Franks and Dilly Keene. As always, there is a blanket spoiler warning in place. I will be discussing spoilers, so if you would like to hear The Warehouse first, this is your only chance to abandon ship. And first of all, I would like to apologize for how late this review is. I've had to delay it twice. First, I was having issues with my internet service provider, and, the connection kept dropping out intermittently. It would come in, it would drop out. Sometimes it would be a few seconds, sometimes it would be 20 minutes, and I could not upload the video because the connection kept dropping out, ruining the upload. So I finally called someone. They came over, they replaced my modem, they replaced a cable. So far, things have been working okay. So I tried to upload the video again. Still wouldn't upload. And it kept happening at the same point. Hang on, I'm clipping really bad. I'm going to turn my gain down real quick, which you're going to see because I don't edit my videos. Anyway, and then what happened next is I went to upload the video again, and it happened again. It would not upload, it would not process. And it always happened at the same point. The upload would finish, and then it would start processing, and then it would stop at 18%. And after who knows how long, at that point, it would say the upload failed, which then began getting me to think that maybe the video was corrupted in some way. So I have to do this again, which is also going to affect my review because it's been maybe about a week since I listened to The Warehouse. I may be a little sketchy on some details, and for that, I apologize. But yeah, anyway, on to The Warehouse. This is actually a really fun story. Actually, out of this entire trilogy, I think The Warehouse best captures the good parts of Season 24. The Doctor is really great here. Sylvester McCoy, I think this is the most fun he is having. Just as the Season 24 characterization of the 7th Doctor. He's really curious. He's really excitable. He's obviously having fun while trying to figure out what's going on, but there is still that undercurrent of seriousness. Mel, once again, is really great too. She's very strong. No, never mind. I was going to say her because one of the defining character traits for Mel is that she has an eidetic memory, and I was going to say I think it comes into play here really strongly, but it actually doesn't. It's brought up at one point in the story. Anyway, what is the story? Well, the TARDIS is once again brought off course, bringing the Doctor and Mel to a giant interplanetary warehouse. And the best way I can think of to describe this story is it's sort of a fusion of Paradise Towers and Kerblam. So, the Doctor and Mel are investigating this warehouse. Just corridors of shelves lined with thousands of different varieties of products, all sorted. There's a mysterious mold growing, and that's all I'm going to say on the subject, because a lot of the warehouse is surrounded around a mystery. And I don't want to give away, and yes, I will talk spoilers, but I don't want to give away what the mystery is, because as I've said before with some of the stuff I've reviewed, if you know what the mystery is, if you know how it's going to be solved, it kind of takes away from the story a lot. And with a story as good as The Warehouse, I don't want to give that away. Anyway, and there's also, along with this mold, there's also these vicious rodents, this vermin roaming the halls. While exploring the warehouse, the Doctor and Mel meet Frank, Jean, and Anne, the employees of the warehouse, and we learn that they are clones. The warehouse has 26 sections, and they have a family unit, a Frank, Anne, and Jean, exploring, working, every section. So they start out in section E, and they meet Frank E, Anne E, and Jean E. And then they go into section F, where they meet Frank F, Jean. We only meet 3 of the family units, by the way: the E's, the F's, and the G's. Which I suppose is fine, it's like, because they are clones, it is more of the same. Although the actors all do a really good job of selling that this is a clone race, but that each group has just something slightly different about them. It's a really good portrayal. Also running the warehouse is the mysterious supervisor. And the supervisor is also really good. I will say, too, that as this mystery is going on, there's a really good misdirect that's really well handled. Like, when I reviewed Maggie and Quentin, The Lover's Refrain, I mentioned that one of the stories tried to set up a misdirect, but it failed because it was set up right in the climax of the story. Whereas here, the groundwork for this misdirect is laid on at the beginning. And, the story does a really good job of convincing you to think one way, so that when the misdirect is executed, it's really effective. And I'm worried that even just talking about it, as vague as I am, I'm giving too much away. But yeah, that is something else. With all the parts of this mystery, all the parts of this story, the groundwork is laid really well. You see everything as it happens. Nothing is forgotten. It does a really good job of having the plot points stay relevant, so that when something is called back on, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. And if there was one thing I had to criticize, I would say the entire subplot with the cargo cult. So the basis of the warehouse is that it's a space station, essentially, and there is a planet below it. And over time, this planet lost contact with the warehouse and eventually devolved into a more primitive society, and then became a cargo cult. Like, the Doctor mentions something he saw similar on Earth, how this tribe that didn't interact with the outside world saw this plane dropping off supplies, what's it called now, where they just shoot them out of the air with a parachute. I'm blanking on the name. And this tribe began to see the planes as gods, and they believed ritualistic sacrifice would bring deliveries from the gods. And that's what's happened with this planet here. They've become a cargo cult. They see the warehouse as this heavenly thing, and they believe that ritualistic sacrifice will bring about salvation, essentially. That was a lot more difficult to explain than it should have been. And if I will say that I do think the entire cargo cult subplot feels sort of tacked on. Like, it's revealed very early in the story, but then it's not called back again until like episode 3. And just the way it's handled, it's very clunky and it's very tacked on. But that's really, in the grand scheme of things, a very minor nitpick. The story is still mostly good, and even if I do feel the cargo cult is tacked on, it is still a fun part of the story. Then that's the overall feel of the warehouse. It's just fun. Overall, really fun. And I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. But those are just my thoughts on the warehouse. What were yours? Start a conversation in the comments below, and join me a week from now when we will look at the final story of the season 24 trilogy. We began with an old foe in We Are the Daleks, and we're ending with the Doctor meeting an old foe in Terror of the Sontarans. I know that was really rushed, but like I said, there were delays and the video was corrupted, so I had to do this again, and I am relying solely on memory at this point. But those were my thoughts on the warehouse. What were yours? Start a conversation in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload. In the description box below, you'll find the link to my Ko-fi, where you can help support the channel, and you'll find the link to my Twitter, where you can follow me and get updates on the channel. This is the Sentinel watching over Geekdom, and I'll see you guys next time.